This video is for you if you want to understand narcissistic behavior. So, narcissists project a false face onto you. Now, they're holding up their superego, their false face, but they're also projecting onto you. They're only going to perceive you their way. No matter what, they're only going to see you the way they want to. You are their supply, and you're to be discarded and devalued as soon as you're no longer giving them supply. They don't care whether the drug is good, bad, or indifferent as long as they're getting it. As long as they're getting their supply, as long as your attention's on them, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, as long as your attention's on them, as long as you're looking at them, as long as you're seeing them, you're making them realize that their false face, their mask, is being recognized. And it doesn't make any difference where it's coming from. Now, this is causing a feeling of insignificance in you, but they have no omission of content. You know, they might politely endure situations where they have to in order to turn it back around to their getting their supply. I mean, it's just as simple. Okay, I've got to let them talk. If I don't let them talk, and they'll sit there, you know, as if you have anything important to say. Now, they're always going to point out your mistakes. But when you point out their mistakes, look out. Because when you point out their mistakes, they're not going to take it as, hey, I need to learn from this situation. They're going to take it as, you're putting me down, you're insulting me, you're making me feel bad, any number of things. You can point out their mistakes all day long, and they're always in the right about it. No, I did that because of this, or I did that because of you. It doesn't make any difference where it's coming from. They're always going to put the blame back on you. So, my suggestion is to go no contact and get on with your own life. Learn to live without them in your mind. And that's a little easier said than done. A little easier said than done. Because you're used to that supply too. Somewhere in you, if you're dealing with a narcissist and you're a codependent, somewhere in you is that same situation in a mirror, in reverse. Because you didn't receive certain things in childhood and you're expecting them to do it. And if you can heal them, if you can get them to the point of healed, then they can get you to the point of healed. When the secret is, they're never going to get them to the point of healed, and they don't care if you ever get healed. In fact, they don't want you to be healed because you're their drug. Your attention is their drug. So you have to become an adult and individuate in family, in work, in romance, in friendship, in your own personal relationship with yourself. You have to individuate. You have to be your own parent. And that's not the easiest thing to do. Because when you start to self-parent, I can tell you, a lot of times, the voice of your parents is going to come out. And, hey, that's just part of the process. You're going to hear the negative things that your parents said about you. Always look for the positive things that your parents said about you. And if you're in a situation where your parents never said anything positive about you, seek help. Not just reading books and doing things, seek help. Because there are those of us out there who have gone through it who can help you, and there are those out there who are educated specifically in helping you. Seek help. So, like, share, subscribe, comment, ask any question you want. If I don't know the answer, we'll find it together if it's an appropriate question. Some of these comments can get inappropriate. Okay, no problem. But like, share, subscribe, comment. Ask me. If I don't know the answer, we'll find it together. So there are 10 types of behavior that are specifically narcissistic. And if their target is enlightened, so to speak, to the situation, they can avoid the situation entirely. Because a narcissist, especially at the sociopathic level, will tell you exactly who they are within the first hours of meeting them and exactly what they're going to do. And I've gone back to every single relationship I've been involved with another person, and they always did it, even friendships. Even friendships, they let me know exactly who they were in the first few hours of knowing them and exactly how they were going to treat me and what they were going to do. And it can be just simple, innocuous conversation, just listening to how the past is. Oh, I'm different now, but this is the way I used to be. That's why I don't talk anymore about who I used to be at the beginning of getting to know someone. I talk about who I am now, where I am going. Because who cares where I've been? It's who I am now. It's who I am presenting in this human suit now. It's who this human suit is representing now. So, one of them is addiction to feeling unique, superior, and special. And we all know that person. You know, whether it's the hurt finger that never heals, the oh my aching this, or oh my hurt neck, or oh my hurt knee, and I used to have a psychological addiction to everybody, you know, I can't do that because of my knee. Well, you know what? I went out there and I did it anyway, and I reconciled that situation. And that comes from being in childhood when we didn't have enough money to go to the doctor about things, but yet, oh, we got enough money for chocolate for mom, we got enough money for sugar for mom, we don't have enough money to take you to the dentist, we don't have enough money to take you to the doctor because of this or that. Oh, it's just growing pains. Well, come to find out, some of it wasn't just growing pains. You know, there's some serious internal scarring besides of the psyche that could have been taken care of. And I'm not complaining about it. I'm just pointing out there are situations in me that caused me to be the way I was. So they lack empathy. I cannot stress this enough, that they lack empathy, true empathy. They can mirror it to a degree, they can act like it to a degree, but it always gets turned back around to them, no matter what. They can't say, oh, my condolences. It's, oh, my condolences. Well, my grandmother died of this too. And she was so close to me, and then they start telling you their story. The attention back on them. They always feel entitled. They always feel entitled, no matter what. I deserve this because of the way I was treated, and you're going to recognize it, and you're going to treat me this way because I'm the princess, I'm the queen, I'm the whatever. I'm the prince, I'm the king. You know, you're going to give this to me because I'm entitled to it, because I'm the biggest and the bestest. Like I said in another video, they are the villain, the victim, and the hero all at the same time. All in the same sentence sometimes. And if you watch their eyes and their body language, they're good at mimicking and they're good at covering, but they're not that good. Every time they get in trouble with a situation, it's always because of, well, the blah, 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 you know. The only reason I did this is because you, or the only reason I did this is because you didn't stop me from having that extra drink. You threatened my life. You didn't drive me home. You threatened my life. As a cop once told me, though, there's no designated follower. I almost went to jail that night myself. So you're always the narcissistic supply. They want the attention, they need the attention, they have to have the attention. Now there is a certain part of healthy narcissism from me being here on this video screen. Yes, I want the attention. But I want the attention so that I can show you ways to help you. Because I've been through it. I'm still going through it. Every day I go within and say, what needs my attention today? How does my inner child need to be held and loved today? What is coming to the surface today? So, you know, take that to heart. Yes, there's a certain amount of me that wants recognition for this. But more than that certain amount of me wanting recognition for this, how can I help you to understand what's going on within you? How can I help you bring it to the surface safely and transmute or transform that energy into something that can help other people. I love working with clients. That's one-on-one. But when I'm working through this screen, it's potentially billions. That's an incredible way to be able to say, hey, I've been through the bad stuff. Here's the way to get to the good stuff. And you got to go to hell to get to heaven. I'm telling you that now. I put myself through a self-imposed, self-enforced, guided and controlled nervous breakdown. Months. I now have, 1,700 hours of specifically going in. Where is it? What is it? How do I deal with it? How do I integrate it? And that's just in the last 6 years, not including my meditation. And sometimes my meditation stuff will come up. And there's a specific part of my meditation where I work for forgiveness. So I'm not talking to you from, hey, look at this piece of paper I have that says I can tell you this. No, this is from me having the experience of, hey, I can tell you this. And if you've stayed this long, like, share, subscribe, and comment, ask your questions. Because if I haven't been there, then maybe we can find someone who has, who can give us a strategy. So they're extremely competitive. And they'll always play mirror, mirror. There's always the supply element. And they're always the best, they're always superior, and they are always jealous. They are always jealous. If you show a superior talent in something, they will compliment you on it and point out the mistake you're making. Say you're bending over to get your toes and you take a little longer that day. Well, you didn't do that very fast. So you bend over and you actually touch your toes, but you can't put your hands flat on the ground in front of you. Yeah, but you can't put your hands flat. I love hearing an obese person who is very narcissistic telling me this, and I say, well, when's the last time you saw your toes? Which is, me pointing back to them and giving them negative attention. I'll admit that. It's me pricking them. But oftentimes when you do that, they'll go, and you say, look, I'm doing it. Don't talk about it. Be about it. And for me, no, you don't get to say that to me without redress. Which kind of in some ways is not being impeccable with my word, and kind of in some ways is not saying, okay, whatever. But I admit, there are times when I still slip back and forth. Even the Dalai Lama has a bad day. So they're overly concerned with their appearance. Their masks, they're superficial. Their superego is such a carefully constructed persona that any challenge to that is personal insult to them. How dare you? This is who I am. Now, as soon as they walk in the door at home, mask comes off, gets hung up. Everybody is fair game. Everybody in that house knows who lives behind that mask. And everybody's careful not to endanger themselves with the person who lives behind that mask. I'll admit, I used to be a rageaholic. I had my own mask. I admit it. I was just as sociopathic as the people I was involved with, and I was a rageaholic. I would take it so far, and most of the time I would walk away, but if I didn't walk away, nuclear bombs going off. And it didn't make any difference to me who was around. If you push me to this point, I'm going to shred you. And I'm a Scorpio who read the dictionary at the age of 4. I can turn a phrase like nobody's business. And that's not being overly confident. I'm a very good writer. So when it came to pointing out the flaws, oh, you want to point out my flaws? Well, what about this? And it's like a MG42 back in World War II. Just, there you go. Now you're in pieces on the floor, and it's your fault. It's not mine. If you had backed off of me, I wouldn't have done it. Well, you know what? I was wrong for doing that. But in ahimsa, it says, do no harm, but protect yourself. And when it's getting to the point where everybody in the room is seeing me being belittled and shredded, then I shred back. Now I put myself in situations where that is not a possibility to the best of my ability. And if I see the possibility starting to ramp up, I walk away. And I don't care what they think. I don't care if they see it as weakness. Everybody wants to give one up with their statement, one up with their this, one up with their that, and I've got no F's to give and all this stuff. Outspeaking the other person, well, you know what? That's still a narcissistic supply. And I'll admit, I've been there. I've done it. Sometimes I slip into it. They're overly sensitive and they have no honest heart-to-heart connection for criticism. Okay? Even perceived criticism. And they're not even into kind and helpful critique. Hey, you know, if you let me take your little brush over there, I can smooth your makeup out and it won't look like a 2-year-old put it on. You know, that's not necessarily the nicest way to say it, but you know, I can help you make it look better. I can make your clothing look better. But they're always concerned with their appearance. They're always concerned with how they're appearing to the world. Now, a healthy sense of this is to be nicely dressed. A healthy sense of this is to keep yourself, you know, trimmed and looking good. I'm not saying that's a wrong thing. That shows that you're having self-care. But to overly accent it, and then when someone says, well, there's a problem with you, you know, how about we adjust it this way? And they blow up. Yeah. No, it's perfect just the way it is. Well, okay. Go around looking like a raccoon. One thing they definitely do is they use sexuality to their advantage, and they manipulate, and they always do bait and switch. It doesn't make any difference what's going on sexually. There is no commiseration, there is no communication as to what is wanted, except what they want, how it's wanted, except what they want, and it's always going to be done their way no matter what. And even in the middle of sex, they will get critical, harsh, and abusive. Sometimes even physically so. A lot of times they will just simply withhold affection. Or just lay there flat. And this is guys and girls. Doesn't make any difference. Sex is always on their particular bandwidth, never what you need to. So that becomes a mutual masturbation situation. Get in, get off, get out seems to be the safest method there for guys. But if they can't please themselves in any way, they're never going to be pleased in that way. Or if they over-please themselves in that way, you better over-please them too. They manipulate with punishments, silent treatment. They remove their affection, they abandon, they neglect. All of this is withholding attention because the attention is supposed to be on them. It's only ever supposed to be on them. If they have to give you attention, even a child, even their own child, if that child is not giving them the proper attention, that child's going to know about it one way or another. That child will be held responsible for how the adult is deciding to feel or deciding to depict or portray that they feel. And believe me, the way my mother was, some days you didn't want to clink a spoon against the side of the bowl when you were eating your cereal. You better quit making all that noise over there. I've got a headache. Well, yep, it's going to be one of those days. They have a shameless disregard for boundaries and no respect for anyone's boundaries, especially perspectives. And they will shred you in front of people in a heartbeat. I can't believe you're embarrassing me this way. Boom. There's all your stuff out in the open. There's all your stuff on the table. Yeah, been there, done that. And I've done it back. So yeah, you want to cover the table with my crap? Here's yours. I can't believe you talked to me that way. I can't believe, or don't want to believe, that you instigated that situation. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. and specifically ask the people away from that person, and they're all like, yeah, we saw what happened. You just got to watch yourself, because that'll happen. This is family members of the person saying, yeah, we know who they are. They're very materialistic, and they reinforce their superiority and compliment their mask. They will take everything from you, money, whatever, and everything is objects. The children are objects. The animals are objects. Everything is objects, and they got to have something new. Their houses may be super neat, but they will have the elite of everything, or the best of their ability. Or if not, they'll have an excuse for, well, I can't have the best because of this. It's always a matter of villain, victim, and hero. If you're not pitying them, but you better not let it show as pity, then something's wrong. If you're not worshiping them, then something's wrong. And if they're not being your worst nightmare, something's wrong. The drama queen loves drama, thrives on discord. It doesn't make any difference whether it's a micro happening or a major happening. It's always a major production. And then the drama queen, drama king, it doesn't make any difference. He-man, woman hater, she-woman, man hater. It's always drama. It's always drama, and it's never resolved. Ever. No matter what you do, you cannot resolve the situation. You cannot fix them, and they're not going to fix themselves. No matter how much work you do on you, they're not going to equivalent it. If you go to marriage counseling, don't be surprised if everything gets put on you by the counselor, because all they see is the cherub in the seat. You admit your faults, they admit to none. Don't be surprised. And even if the counselor is on your side, it's still going to come back to, I can't believe you treated me this way. I can't believe you lied to them. One thing they'll do is they will deny things happen. That didn't happen. It didn't happen that way. You can have video and audio evidence of it. Well, you altered it in some way. Well, you're twisting it. It didn't happen that way. Yeah, it did. And it's always over-exaggerated, no matter what. They love to pit people against each other. Triangulation, manipulation, embellishment. They triangulate with target friends and even their own children. One thing that I've always been careful about talking about with my sons is, you know, your mother and I don't get along. You know, your mother and I never had the same viewpoints. I don't know what or if she's talked to them about me. I don't care. I know my relationship with my sons. And I know that she and I can sit in the same room as me having a conversation with my sons, and everything's cool. And when I start sensing things getting edgy, I leave. That is the best way to be. And I have a lot of compassion for how she went through things. And I have a lot of compassion for how she's going through things. And she is moderately self-aware of situations and working on it, because she knows where she came from and who she was. And that's good. I'm grateful to see that. But when it comes to blatant situations where the one person is not going to accept responsibility for themselves no matter what, and the other person is accepting full responsibility for not only themselves but both people, this is the worst form of codependency. So if you're going through this, my heart goes out to you. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. I'm Hawk from Help a Hawk Healing, where we're free in human hearts. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Watch this video. Blessed be, and namaskar.